Good evening, and welcome to the Call the Falls Amateur Radio Club's Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. My name is Russ, and my call is KD8VYT. But for this presentation of Newsline, I will be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Power. Without further ado, this is Amateur Radio Newsline.
Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2461 with a release date of Friday, December 27th, 2024, to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is UST. A rocket explosion destroys hopes for Taiwan's newest ham satellite. Germany's Radio Society finds its voice on shortwave from England. And hams speak to the silent keys who shaped their lives. All this and more is Amateur Radio report number 2461 right now. From around the world, Amateur Radio's independent on-the-air news and bulletin service. And now reporting from Valparaiso, Indiana, here's Paul Brown, WD Radio. A much-anticipated ham radio satellite built by students in Taiwan never made it into orbit. The rocket self-destructed, as we hear from Jim Meechan, ZL2 BHF.
Taiwan's Paris T1A satellite was to become one of the newest FM repeaters in space, but it never got a chance. The rocket launch was aborted by Japanese startup Space One right after liftoff on Wednesday, December 17th. The rocket destroyed itself, according to news reports. Engineer Mamoru Endo, a company executive, said that an autonomous safety mechanism triggered the destruction, likely after a first-stage engine or control system abnormality caused the rocket to become unstable. Hams worldwide had anticipated the eventual orbit of the 3U CubeSat, which had an FM crossband repeater and an APRS repeater on 145.825 MHz, the same frequency as the International Space Station's APRS channel. Meanwhile, the amateur satellite known as Paris T1 is being scheduled for launch by space in January, carrying an APRS store and forward system. The satellites were student critics at National Formosa University. This is Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF.
Yes, there's a way to extend the holiday season for just a few more days. The International Space Station has been giving hams the opportunity to participate in a closed TV event that began on Christmas Day, December 25th, and runs through the 5th of January. It's an experiment as Expedition 72, Series 23 single-side TV experiment. Transmission images are being sent to the RS-0 ISS station, operating on 145.8 megahertz, using the PD-120 mode. Once you're done decoding the images, you can send them to ARIS and apply for an award. See the link in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. Once again, as before, a bill to mandate AM broadcast radio in U.S. vehicles has died without lawmakers taking action. We have that update from Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
Attempts have once again stalled for a measure that would require AM broadcast radio in all new vehicles sold in the United States. Despite the bipartisan support for it in the U.S. Congress, the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act fell victim on December to scrambling by lawmakers in Washington, D.C. Those members of Congress faced a deadline to pass a measure that would keep the government funded and avoid a widespread shutdown. CBS News reported that the lawmakers' stopgap spending measure reached mid-month would solve the greater issue, but in doing so would cut several items, including the AM radio mandate for vehicles. The National Association of Broadcasters was among those expressing disappointment, since AM radio is considered a valuable resource for transmitting public safety information during emergencies. The makers of some electric cars would like AM radio eliminated, acknowledging that their vehicles' electronic systems interfere with AM reception. The bill is not dead, however. Many advocates plan to take up the measure in the next session of Congress in 2025. This is Kent Peterson, KC0 DGY.
The cooperation between amateur radio and other radio services continues to grow. In fact, one ham club in Southern California recently committed to making that happen in a big way, as we hear from Ralph Squillaci, KK6, ITB.
The Mile High Radio Club isn't just in favor of growing amateur radio as a public service. It wants to see radio in general become a public service asset. The club recently agreed to provide its mountain community with a repeater for General Mobile Radio Service, or GMRS, so anyone with a compatible radio can pass along information or ask for help. The repeater is located in Idaho, in a region affected by an earthquake. On the popular wilderness trails. Like amateur radio operators, GMRS use must be licensed, but there is no qualifying test, and one license can be used by all members of a family. This is Ralph Squillaci, KK6 ITB.
The scholar from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology has expressed concerns about the impact of geomagnetic storms on space traffic coordination amongst satellites. Dave Parks, W8VPV, brings us the details.
2 geomagnetic storms this year had a serious impact on low Earth orbit satellites after an increased atmospheric density created drag affecting satellites' orbits. The first storm was a solar event last May that made the aurora more visible at lower latitudes in the northern hemisphere. The second storm was in October. Most of the satellites affected by these storms were part of the Starlink constellation. William Parker of MIT told a meeting of the American Geophysical Union on December 9th that the shift in orbits was not easy to accurately track, posing a greater likelihood of collisions. He called the phenomenon a mass migration of satellites. He called for better forecasting of space weather and the use of better models, saying such requirements were critical in being able to move forward with these kinds of operations in space. This is Dave Parks, WB8ODF.
The new year is bringing changes for the Deutsche Amateur Radio Club's weekly shortwave broadcast. Jeremy Woot, G4NJH, tells us what to expect.
Listeners of the Deutsche Amateur Radio Club's weekly shortwave broadcast will be tuning their dials to 9670 kHz on Sunday the 5th of January, as programming begins from a new location at a BBC property in Wolferton, England. The New Year's move comes with the December shutdown of Austria's ORS shortwave station in Moosbrunn, the former home of Radio Austria International. The new location at Wolferton is operated by a BBC subsidiary company, Encompass Media, and is home to 10 transmitters. The Austrian station had carried programming for the DARC for about a decade. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
In Australia, scouts are getting ready for 10 days of adventure, and yes, ham radio too. John Williams, VK4JJW, takes us to Queensland for that report.
A small city will be springing up seemingly overnight in Queensland, Australia, as thousands of scouts set out for the Maryborough Showgrounds and Equestrian Park. Scouts Queensland will be hosting visitors from around Australia for the first jamboree in 4 years, giving scouts an opportunity during those 10 days to participate in activities that are as entertaining as they're educational. Everything from rock climbing and archery to cooking and attending concerts. Naturally, amateur radio will be involved. Scouts will be calling CQ with special call sign VI2025AJ from the 5th of January through to the 16th. There'll be 2 HF stations operating SSB and FT8. EQSL cards will be sent at the end of each day, directly from the Jamboree site. This is your chance to get in on some of the adventure. The Jamboree is the 26th such event for the Scouts. Those who do not attend this time around will have to wait until 2029. This is John Williams, VK4JJW.
It's time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the 9Z4RG repeater on Saturdays at 1200 UTC in Port of Spain, Trinidad, and Tobago. In northern New York State, a rescue group is experiencing a resurgence, and they've got a grant to help them update their emergency radios. And Emerson K9 AWM tells us about
30 is the magic number for members of rescue an organization in the northern mountains of New York State. Known by the acronym SARNAC, the group is marking its 30th year with a core group of 30 volunteers. It is also preparing for the arrival of 30 new radios, the result of a grant of more than $6,000 from the town of North Elba. This will enable SARNAC to continue its mission to support search and rescue missions by replacing its second-hand fire department radios with updated communication equipment. The new radios will have longer-lasting batteries and greater range than the 40-kilometer radius surrounding the local repeater. They will also have digital capability. Coordinator Jeff Berry, KE2DKA, told the Lake Placid News that SARNAC has been experiencing a resurgence since the challenges of another 30 years. K9 AWM
Until the January to celebrated the 22nd anniversary of the launch SO50, also known as contacts as possible. RK from the Gambia on 4th and 5th January before moving on to Senegal. He will operate from Senegal on the 11th and 12th of January 1 RD. Billy will operate single sideband and FT8/F4 on 80 through 10 meters. All QSLs are A7 FTR. Elder TY1 SAD will operate as A1 TM from Georgetown, Guyana, the 1st of January through the 8th of February. He will be using CW, single sideband, and digital modes on all bands. He will also operate via satellite. See QRZ.com for QSL details. Listen for Earl, WA3DX, who is operating from Trinidad, is 9Y4/WA3DX from the 10th to the 14th of January, FT8 and FT4. Find Earl on 40 through 10 meters. See QRZ.com for QSL details. Here is made up 2024. We also think of those since silent. That was the purpose of the K4SE special event, which began the Thanksgiving holiday and ended just as December began. From Ralph Squillaci,
the hams in Georgia's Statesboro Society, remember them all. The radio operators who have come and gone from their lives, but have left an enduring mark. Inspired but a big thank you to the silent keys AJ4BH, club trustee and former secretary, told Newsline to one or more silent keys who encouraged him. End quote. The week was filled with QSO's CW and SSB contacts, but that was the end of it. But Newsline, he made about a third of his contacts via slow scanning and international contacts on FT8. He said for JO a one-time thing. Remember, already looking forward to week 25. This is Russ, 86 ITB.
He is writing a QS card. Such as using three-line syllables, even in the second and the third. Submit your work on our website, our newsline. With thanks to the Amateur Radio Daily, AMSAT News Service, Buddy Horn, 48, 85 DX News, the Lake News, QRZ Forums, Radio World, DE, Space News, Australia, and yours. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer organization that encourages purchase. You can support us on our website at arnewsline.org. And know that we also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, please give us a 5-star with Karen Paul Brown, W89GCO in Valparaiso, Indiana. We thank you for listening. Radio News, copyright 24. All right.
This concludes our session of Amateur Radio News. Net starts in about 10 minutes.
W8VPV repeater.
A few days ago before the relatives came, and it said POTA / and then the person's call sign on FT8. So that got identified as being from Indonesia, PO. So I emailed the guy about it. He came back and says, yeah, he knows. Because he put POTA, did I say this? He put POTA / call sign, not POTA space call sign. So, he said, unfortunately, he uses a program called JTDX. I don't know what that is, along with FT8. And he says JTDX won't work right if he doesn't have the slash. Well. Last thing, Kevin KBS has sort of kicked me a little bit here. Does anybody need an FT8 help net? I'll say it again, help net for FT8. It's an idea I just had, so I don't know if it's necessary.
Good evening. Calling all amateur radio operators. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday night VHF UHF net. My name is John, and my call is W03X. However, for the purposes of this net, I'll be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is an open directed net. All
All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control, and since emergency traffic may break in at any time, please leave a brief pause between transmissions. The purpose of this net is to bring together all amateur radio operators for the exchanging of amateur-related ideas and information, to enhance net operating practices, and to keep members up to date about club happenings. This net meets here every Monday evening at 8:30 p.m. local time, preceded by Amateur Radio Newsline at 8:01. We will start with announcements and then ask for check-ins from any officer or member who has an announcement of general interest to the club. Once that is complete, I'll take check-ins, call signs only, 5 at a time, and confirming each call. Then I'll correspond with those 5 check-ins and ask for 5 more until we're done. If you're a regular participant, I'll probably recognize you by call sign. If not, please give your call repeated phonetically, followed by your name and your location. When all check-ins have been corresponded with, I will close the net after repeating the announcements and giving one last call for check-ins. We also operate a band exploration net at 9:30 p.m. after this net. Please join us if you have the privileges and equipment. Since this is a 5th Monday and it's in the winter time, the HF band exploration net will be on 160 meters at 1887 kilohertz approximately, and we will be using amplitude modulation, that's AM, this evening, and I will be the net control station. Okay, let's see, we have some announcements here. The next meeting of the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club will be on January 8th. And it will be in person at the Pilgrim United Church on Broad Boulevard. You get to the meeting by going to the parking lot, which is on 2nd Street, just south of Broad Boulevard, and then go into the door that is on the corner of the parking lot. And if you're going to attend by Zoom, go to our website, www.cfarc.org, and on the right side of the page is a calendar. Scroll down to January 8th, and the link to the Zoom meeting will be there. Starting on January 12th and going to February 16th is a general license exam preparation. It will be free, and it's on the internet. And to find the link, go to our website, again, www.cfarc.org, and then click on Education, and in that page will be a spot to click on to get the information for the general license exam preparation. Winter Field Day is January 25th and 26th, and so start making your plans. And if you are going to operate somewhere, you can register and the location of your operation. Just go to put winter field day in your search engine there, and it will give you a link to their website to provide that information. At the meeting there on January 8th, will be VNA measurements, and so the previous meeting on that subject was about the theory of operation, how the values are calculated and so forth. But this will be a hands-on presentation showing what the VNA shows with various changes in antennas and other factors. That's all that I have in a way of announcements. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for any officers or members who have items of special interest to the net. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. W8VPV, go ahead.
That operates pretty much everything except 10 meters. We are a possibility of doing a winter field day event based in the club. Details been worked out yet, but this would be a great opportunity for somebody who maybe you're technician and wants to. We can let you operate under the auspices of a control operator, give you some experience. If you're getting gooder, we will have overnight operations. We'll have food brought in. It'll be our first big club. So if you're interested in one of the skill, you can just let's see, Vice President at cpark.org, Michael cpark.org. We want to see 3 or 4 or 5 people who are willing to operate over the weekend or over the, but you do nothing there. So it's really about it. And John, you've done a good job. We're going to be talking about actually using the VNA. We're going to do it with passers to kind of get an idea of just how the VNA works. So that's really about it. We'll head back to you, Jack. Please check me in. Back to net, W8VPV.
Okay, I have you in. And so this is Victor. Are there any other officers or members who have items of special interest to the net?
8 X-ray Oscar.
Alpha Charlie, go ahead, Vince.
Well, it's the 30th, so tomorrow's the 31st. And by the way, there are articles of the will be in a week after New Year's. I like to get the newsletter out before that time. Get to me by, well, you're supposed to get it to me by the 1st. So you've got your
Okay, information trickles in to newsletter editor at cfarc.org. Okay, are there any other officers or members who announce of general interest to the club? This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Okay, I'll take check-in now. 5 at a time. Let me confirm each call 1 at a time. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-in.
Kilo Echo number 8 Queen, John in Cuyahoga Falls.
KE8Q, I have you. We'll get back with you in a minute.
KE8 FKN, Ron at Fairlawn, in and out.
KE8 FKN, Ron in Fairlawn, I have you in and out. Thanks, 73, and have a good evening. Another check-in, please.
Hello, Bravo 8, Victor Hotel Kilo, John and Kenmore, in and out.
KB8VHK, I have you in and out. Thanks for checking in, 73. Have a good evening. Another check-in, please.
K8PU.
K8PU, Larry, I have you in. Another check-in, please.
K8QR, Keith in Uniontown.
KEQR, Keith, we'll get back with you in a minute here. Thanks. Another check-in, please.
Kilo Echo 8.
KE8ZPX, I have you in and out. Thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. Let's see, how many is that? Let's go with one more check-in. Okay, Mark and Hudson, I have you, and thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. Okay, let's see here. Let's go up to K8Q. Go ahead, John, with your comments.
Okay, very good. Good evening to everyone, and we're glad to be able to check in here. And we wish everybody a happy New Year there, and hope everybody had a great Christmas. Looking forward to the year coming up here, 25. So hopefully it'll be a lot better than 24. All right, and that's all I got. Back to you. Net control. KAQ.
Yeah, thanks, John. Very good, and Happy New Year to you, and thanks for checking in, and have a good evening. Okay, let's see. So the next one that was not in and out was Larry, K8PU. Go ahead, Larry.
John, everybody on the net. Well, last week I couldn't make the net because we had a family thing we had going, so I have to tell everybody, I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas as we did. All the kids, everybody, it was nice. And weather was decent. So I hope everybody enjoyed it too, just like it. And like I always do, wish everybody a happy Ham New Year. I've been saying that for years, so I will keep it up. And yeah, Frank and the house, that's an excellent idea. What we've gone through to try to have Winter Field Day in the past is a piece of cake. That should be a lot of fun.
Okay, sounds good. We'll hear you next. Okay, so let's see. The next one was Keith, KE8TQR. Go ahead, Keith, with your comments. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor with John W3X at the mic.
Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is KE8TQR. Good evening, John. Good evening to everyone else here on the net. That windstorm we had last night, I was sitting here just before going to bed listening to the wind whip around the house, and I was praying for that tower in the backyard, and when I got up this morning, my prayers were answered because the tower was still standing, and all the stuff on it was still where it belonged, pointing in the right direction, so we made it through that windstorm, and I am happy about that. Had a good day here at home. The wife and I did wander out for a little bit. We had to pick up a few things for our get-together tomorrow night. Well, it's not really a get-together. It's her, my son, and me, so that's about all we got. But we just had to pick up a few things. We got to get some lunch, meat, chips, and we'll just sit around and eat when we want to, and just a little television, and if we're lucky, we'll stay awake to watch the ball drop high. Yeah, that's about all I got. I just hope everyone has a wonderful Monday, and hope everyone has a terrific Tuesday. I want everyone a happy new year, and hopefully the next 4 years will be prosperous and a blessing to us all. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you, John. Fine job running that night. This is KE8TQR saying 73. God bless and Happy New Year.
Thanks, Keith. Very good. Good to hear that your antenna tower stayed up. We didn't have any real high wind gusts here that I noticed. It was more or less like a steady wind. When it did do that, it was just more or less steady and didn't sound real high speed. So nothing much happened around here. The power didn't even blink. So I guess that's how that goes. You get let's see, they were saying maybe it was windier up here, but there were problems up toward Cleveland here, which is north of here. So I'm not sure. Maybe it's because we're like just beyond the valley, and it kind of gets a deflated and is a higher level here than farther east. Okay, so very good. Happy New Year there, Keith. Okay, so let's see here. The next two check-ins were in and out, so that takes us to the bottom of the list. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins.
Kurt and Cuyahoga Falls.
Okay, I got Kurt. Let's see, KEBI. Are you wrong?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. and I got Kurt, KEAULC. Another check-in? Okay, there was a double there, but I got Bill, K8BI, and who was the other one?
Tony, Merriman Valley, KFC.
Okay, Tony, I got you in there. Okay, we'll go with this group here. Ron, K8, KBI, go ahead with your comments.
Well, I had a good Christmas, but then we wound up coming down with that norovirus that's going around, so our holidays tapered out real quick after that. Other than that, we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, okay. I think maybe the norovirus visited our house too, but not real intense. But he did stop by here, I believe. Okay, thanks for checking in there, Ron, and have a good evening and a good week. Okay, next is KEAULC. Go ahead, Kurt, with your comments.
Well, to all you on the net, if you're interested in celestial events, this is the black moon. The black moon is similar to the blue moon. We think of the blue moon or black moon being the second time the full moon or new moon in a month. However, the true definition is that it is the third time that you have a new moon for blue moon, or the third term of no moon in the quarter. So back to you, John.
Okay, like an unusual event. So, okay, very thanks for pointing that out. And so 73, and have a good evening. Okay, next was Bill, K8BI. Go ahead, Bill, with your comments.
Oh, good evening. How's your coffee, John?
Oh, real good. Real good. Go ahead.
Okay, wasn't sure I was on mid-power. Yeah, I just wanted to say Happy New Year to everybody. It's good to hear everyone on the net. And I got my right knee replaced on the 19th, so I'm still on the recovery road. I'm getting around doing stuff, but I'm not allowed to go out and drive anywhere yet since my driving leg. So I'm finding chores to do at home. So finding lots of things, little things to clean up. So that's kind of my holiday season is getting better. Anyways, I guess that's all the news from this end of town. Other than I got some of that wind over here. So anyone, I try that again. Everyone have a great New Year coming up. And back to you, John. W8VPV. This is KPI.
Okay, Bill. Very good. Sounds like you got some work done there on your knee there. So hopefully that works out well for you. And so have a happy New Year, and we'll listen for you next time. Okay, and your signal was stronger than Tony's, the next check-in here. So you had sufficient power. Okay, so next is KFA-ABD. Go ahead, Tony, with your comments. This is Whiskey 8 Victor.
Thanks. Nothing much going on here due to the holiday. I did manage to order up a digital hotspot delivered this week. Pulled up some birthday money, and I'm looking forward to playing with it. Back to you, Ned. I'm done.
Okay, that's on there. So hopefully you get some usage out of that digital hotspot, and maybe you can tell us about something. Okay, that takes us to the bottom of the list. So this is W8 Victor Papa asking for check-in. I'll go to the time here now. 8WA, go ahead.
Watch a movie and wait for the ball to drop. So it's kind of okay, but really like about all the drunks on New Year's Eve. So that's about it here. Control W8VPV.
Yeah, very good, Bill. Let's see, the band exploration this evening, since it's the 5th Monday and it's in the winter, we're going to be 150 meters and we're going to be using American modulation. We're going to be on or about 1887 kilohertz. Over.
Listening there now. There's Q down around 1886. Now I don't know how long these guys go before you fire.
Okay, yeah, and just read and announce. Well, if anything, I'll just go up. So it would be like 1889 or so. They're still on.
Avoid that Q-arm. Later, John, W8VPV.
Good, and band exploration. Okay, this is whiskey. W80T, go ahead, Frank. which is on 6th Street, just south of Broad Boulevard, and then to the meeting, the doors off of the parking lot. And we're in person, and then if you want to attend by Zoom, go to www.cfa.org, and right side of the date and various other options, and I have something here that I think takes me to get measure how things show compared to what I think it is or what's supposed. And so that's be an hands-on president. And starting January 12th, will be, and going to February 16th, is going to be a general license exam preparation. Again, go to www.cfarc.org, word education, and then on that page, general preparation. As the newsletter editor mentioned your article to him, probably by the 31st, said he and start to think about Winter Field Day. It's going to be January 25th to 26th, and if enough people are interested in it, doing it at the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club clubhouse, then we will have an operation there. And so if you're interested in operating Winter Field Day for a while, send a message to W8EZT at cfarc.org, or president at cfarc.org, or vice president at cfarc.org. You could send it to all of those addresses to mention your interest in Winter Field Day. Again, that's January 25th and 26th, and it runs all night if you want to, and or you can just operate for an hour or so, and there will be a control operator there, so you can operate on bands that your license doesn't allow you to, but with the control operator there you can. Okay, that's all that I have in the way of announcements. So this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, last call for check-ins. Okay, not hearing any. In preparing to close this net, I would like to thank all of you who took the time to join us and check in tonight. Without your participation, there would be no net. This has been John, and my call is W8VPV, and it's been my pleasure to host this evening's net. At this time, I will close the net with 15 check-ins counting myself and return the repeater to normal and customary amateur radio use. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor closing the net at 9:09 p.m. local time. 7-3.
W8VPV. Repeater PL110.9.
This is W03X. It looks like the band exploration net will be on 1889 kilohertz, but keep listening to this repeater in case that changes. This is W03X.
Port link off. W8VPV. Repeater. W8VPV. Repeater.
This is W03X. Okay, it looks like the Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor band exploration net on 160 meters will be okay on 1889 kilohertz. I hear something in the background sometimes, but it doesn't look like anybody's on there. But there is somebody on 1886, so we're going to go to 1889 to be far away enough from them. This is W8VPV, WO3X. I'll be clear this repeater.
Is the frequency in use? This is WO3X. Is the frequency in use? This is WO3X. Nothing heard on the frequency being in use. So good evening. Calling all amateur radio operators. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday night band exploration net. My name is John and my call is WO3X. However, for the purposes of this net, I'll be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is an open directed net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control, and since emergency traffic may break in at any time, please leave a brief pause between transmissions.
You're in sideband, John.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, okay. Okay. Let me start over again on AM. I was in and looking for possible stations on. Okay, so good evening. Calling all amateur radio operators. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday night band exploration net. My name is John and my call is WO3X. However, for the purposes of this net, I'll be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is an open directed net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control, and since emergency traffic may break in at any time, please leave a brief pause between transmissions. The purpose of this net is to bring together all amateur radio operators for the exchanging of amateur-related ideas and information, to enhance net operating practices, and to keep members up to date about club happenings. The band exploration net meets every Monday evening at 9:30 p.m. local time, preceded by the VHF-UHF net at 8:30 and amateur radio Newsline at 8:01. To find what band and frequency the band exploration net is on, check the calendar. And next week we will be on 6 meters on or about 50.270 megahertz upper sideband. When checking in, please give your call repeated phonetically, followed by your name and your location. Also, let me know if you have any comments or traffic for the net, or if you're checking in and out. I will start with announcements, and then call for officers or members who have items of special interest to the club. After that, then I'll take check-ins one at a time on this net here. When all have checked in, I will repeat the announcements. After that, I'll give one last call for check-ins and then close the net. Here are the announcements. The next regular meeting of the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club will be on Wednesday of next week already. That's January 8th at 7:30 p.m. And it will both be in person and on Zoom. In person, it will be at the Pilgrim United Church It has an address listed as 130 Broad Boulevard. But you get to the meeting by going to the parking lot, which is on 2nd Street, just south of Broad Boulevard, and then the entrance is off the corner of the parking lot. And to attend on Zoom, which you can be active, you can actively participate when it's on Zoom. And to get the link, go to www.cfarc.org, and on the right side is dates. Scroll down to January 8th, 2025, and select the meeting there. The link will be right there. Okay, so let's see here. We have that January 8th meeting will be a presentation by Frank, W8VPV, about VNA, and he's going to do some active measurements of various components and antenna lengths and things like that. And so I have one item I might take with me to the meeting. Also, and I guess we'll mention this next week, but take a canned good with you if you're going to attend in person, as a token of appreciation for their letting us use their facility. Okay, let's see. So then on starting January 12th and going to February 16th is a general license exam preparation. If you want to look at that, go to www.cfarc.org, click on the word education, and look for that general license exam preparation. Let's see what else we have here. And Winter Field Day is January 25th and 26th. If you are interested in operating for a while at the Cuyahoga Amateur Radio Club clubhouse, any time during that field day, Winter Field Day operation, let one of us know. Send an email message to W8VPV@cfarc.org. That's Whiskey 8 Echo Zulu Tango at cfarc.org. Or let's see, who else could you send it to? You can send it to treasurer at cfarc.org. That'll be to Frank also. So take a look at your schedule there and see if you have some time and would like to operate. Now, there will be a licensed operator there that will have a license that can operate on all the bands, the HS bands. So if you have a technician license, this would be an opportunity for you to operate on the HS bands with a control operator on hand there. Okay, and then send your newsletter articles to the newsletter editor at cfarc.org by the end of this month, which is tomorrow, so that you can get them into the newsletter before the first meeting. Okay, so this is Whiskey 8, Victor Papa Victor with John W8VPV at the mic, asking for check-ins.
Kilo Alpha 8, Whiskey Tango Kilo.
KA8WTK. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, John, you sound pretty good here. W8VPV, KA8WTK. Yep, you sound pretty nice here, and it's good to hear some AM. There was a nice QSO going on below here it's gone for quite a while. A little bit of a round table with some guys checking in and checking out on AM, and it's frankly, AM's one of my favorite modes. We should try AM on 6 meters sometime, 50.400 for band exploration. Not only band, but you can do mode exploration too. So yeah, we're using the IC 7300 tonight. It's one of several transmitters I have that'll work down here on 160 meters and do AM. Although I haven't had the old Franken-emitter, the homebrew, or the DX100 on in some time. Take me a little work to get them going again, I imagine. At least a little time to make sure everything's cool. Anyway, let's see if we can scare up any other people who want to check in. W8VPV, KA8WTK.
Okay, Bill, yeah, very good. I have you 15/9 here. I don't have any preamps on or anything, so yeah, it's a solid signal here. So you sound very good too. So thanks for checking in, and let's see if we have any others. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor with John W8VPV at the mic, asking for check-ins. Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor calling for check-ins. W8EZT, go ahead, Frank. Okay, yeah, you're a little bit over S9 here, so it's working good enough. Good, thanks. Okay, thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. Okay, this is Whiskey 8, Victor Papa Victor, asking for check-ins. Whiskey 8, Victor Papa Victor, asking for check-ins. Well, I guess there's no foul up here. I'll repeat the announcements and I'll give one last call for check-ins. Okay, so the next regular meeting of the Cuyahoga Amateur Radio Club will be Wednesday of next week already. Wednesday of next week, January 8th. And it will be both in person and on Zoom. So in person it will be at the Pilgrim United Church, and that has an address of 130 Broad Boulevard, but you get to the meeting by going to the parking lot, which is on 2nd Street, just south of Broad Boulevard, and then go into the building. The door is off the corner of the parking lot. And then you can also attend on Zoom actively participate, and you get to the link by going to www.cfarc.org. Scroll down a little bit and watch on the right side for that date, January 8th, and there will be the link for Zoom. And so there will be a presentation by Frank, W8VPV, and it will be a hands-on presentation. He will have his VNA there, and he will be measuring various items, including some components, one of which I think I'm going to take something I have here that I use. I'll explain what I use this for. And also he'll be measuring some inductors and various other items with that VNA. So it's going to be a fun and interesting presentation. Again, that's January 8th. Okay, let's see, and get your newsletter articles into the newsletter editor by tomorrow, end of tomorrow, so that you can put them in to the newsletter, which will come out before the meeting. So send them to newsletter editor at cfarc.org. And then let's see, on January 12th to February 16th is a general license exam preparation. Go to www.cfarc.org, click on the word education, and then look around on that page for the general license exam preparation. Let's see here. And then January 25th and 26th is Amateur Radio Winter Field Day. If there's enough interest, then we will have people at the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club clubhouse, and we can operate all night if we want to. Only have a technician license. There will be a control operator there, and so you can operate on the HF. And you can be on single sideband on the HF band. So well, I guess I wouldn't. That'll only be if you're listening here. You'd have to be a general or whatever to be on this band. But if you know anybody that has a technician license and they would like to operate on the HF bands, let them know of this opportunity at the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club clubhouse. Okay, so let's see here. That's about all that I have in the way of announcements. So this is Whiskey 8, Victor Papa Victor, last call for check-ins. This is Whiskey 8, Victor Papa Victor. You don't have to be a club member. You can be anywhere around within the sound of this signal here to check in here. This is Whiskey 8, Victor Papa Victor, last call for check-ins. Okay, not hearing any. In preparing to close this net, I would like to thank all of you who took the time to join us and check in tonight. Without your participation, there would be no net, This has been John, and my call is W8VPV, and it's been my pleasure to host this evening's net. At this time, I will close the net with 3 check-ins, counting myself, and return the repeater to normal and customary amateur radio use. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor closing the net at 9:50 p.m. local time. 7-3.
Good night, John.
Good night, Bill. Bill, did you hear Frank?
No, I did not hear his modulation. I could tell on the scope that there was a carrier there, but I couldn't hear his voice.
Okay, he's saying Merry Christmas to you and me.
And the same to him.
You hear that, Frank? Bill says Merry Christmas to you. Okay, this is W8VPV. I'll be clear of this frequency.